Okay, so I see that Eric July has a new video about AI that popped up, and I did react to him recently. I reacted here to about half of his video about the Emaru situation. I try to only react to half of videos some of the time because I don't want to be doing parasitic reactions. But this one is only 6 minutes, a short video, so I might actually react to the whole thing because it'd be pretty hard to react to just 3 minutes of a 6 minute video. And the basic stuff that I know about Eric July is I've watched him a little bit for years. I know the basic facts, but I don't know all the details. So I'm not sure what his opinion is on AI. And as far as my opinion on AI, I'm a fence sitter. There are certain aspects of AI that I really praise and have a lot of hope for. And there's some aspects that I think are probably going to cause a lot of problems. But there's AI isn't like one issue, it's like thousands of individual issues. And I think it's quite possible to be against AI on some of those issues and for AI on some of those issues. It's AI is a subject that's kind of like environmentalism, where environmentalism, they kind of treat it like it's just one issue. You know, you're either pro-environmentalism or you're anti-environmentalism. But in reality, environmentalism is like thousands of mini issues. You know, it's like, do you want to have every single songbird that used to come to your grandparents' bird feeders also be able to come to your bird feeders because all of those species of songbirds still exist? I mean, that's one issue. And, do you want your drinking water to be clean and not polluted? That's a different issue. And, I could make a list of like 1,000 different issues, and all of them are environmentalism. So AI is kind of like that. There's so many different categories of AI that I think it's quite possible to be against some of the categories and for some of the categories, and not be hypocritical by being a fence sitter like I am. So I don't know if Eric July is for AI, against AI, if he's a fence sitter, or if he has it divided up into categories and he's got different opinions on different categories. I'm not sure what his deal is, because I actually don't know a lot of detail about him. I just know the general story of him. Okay, so let's go into the video and actually watch it and see what Eric July has to say.
So you might remember I did a
Okay, let's make it big, and then we'll go back to the beginning. Okay, let's go.
so you might remember I did a video not too long ago discussing AI and the reality of it. And one of the things that I talked about was, or I reject.
I did not see that previous video of his, but I will try to figure out which video it is and put that link as well as this link into my description.
The notion a lot of people bring up this idea that AI is like this democratizer. In other words, that it elevates people that otherwise do not have the resources to be competitive with the big dogs in whatever that, let's say, creative field is, art, entertainment, whatever. The reason why I rejected that is because it never really logically made sense, because the big dogs also have access to the same technology. In fact, that's not even accurate. They have access to better AI technology and can use it at scale attached to IPs that people are willing to make money on. It was never this great democratizer. If it was going to enter creative industries, this is the argument that I made, they had all of the advantage. So there's something that kind of came across my timeline here. Someone said all of the anti-AI artists were 100% right. The companies who can afford most afford to pay real artists have been the first to replace them with AI. And they're referring to the Olympics using this AI generated advertisement or something, video as part of their presentation. Now,
Yeah, so the stuff that Eric July is talking about here, so I have not seen this particular AI ad, but I've seen other AI ads and some of the controversy around them, and yeah, it's like well, for one thing, I think the big companies that use AI for ads, the ones I've seen, like they aren't very good, so they're not actually applying the AI very well. You'd think with all the money they had, they could do a better job, but it's pretty obvious that they're phoning it in, at least on the ones I've seen. But the bigger problem, which, Eric July just pointed out, is that when big companies do this, it's really like it feels really unethical because these are the big companies that could easily afford to pay, actors and pay to build a set or film on location. These are companies that could easily afford this. So the amount of savings that these companies are producing by doing this is really not significant to them. And it hurts, actors and so on that would have been employed in the ad. So this is an area of AI that I think I am agreeing with Eric July on, in that it seems pretty unethical for big companies to use AI. And a lot of, well, to use AI in this way, not necessarily that any use of AI by big companies is unethical, but to do ads is kind of skeevy, it's kind of stinky, and okay, so let's let him talk again.
now, what I would like to focus on is I don't care about whether you're pro or anti AI. That's the part of this comment that I think it's not even necessarily accurate, because a lot of us that were making that necessarily that argument or bringing that up, highlighting that, it wasn't about being pro or anti AI. It was just being understanding of the reality. Okay. Even for the sake of this video and what I'm discussing, whether you're pro AI is largely irrelevant. I was right on this, but I want you to understand why, number one. And most importantly, if we're going to move forward with a lot of this uncertainty, there's going to be some harsh realities that a lot of you out there that are going to, I guess, let's say this, you're going to need to accept it. Okay. Bottom line, one of the biggest things, I guess, hurdles it is to get over. It's not necessarily with talent or anything. It has nothing to do with it. What big dogs, big major companies, mega corporation, multinational companies, what they have that you don't have access to is IPs and the people willing to give them the shot. Bottom line, it's familiarity, it's legacy, it's proper channels, all of the terms. They have that, and if you aren't part of and caught up in that chain, which makes it so attractive, you're not. Let's say you're behind largely, and it's going to be significantly difficult for you to break through. Now, what are we talking?
Well, I think I both agree and disagree with him on this. I think I agree that, the big companies do have the official rights to all sorts of IPs, and that is a huge obstacle that the tiny creator is going to have to deal with in one way or another. But one of the things that's going to be happening, I think, are that the really tiny creators are going to do their fan films and their fan TV shows and stuff like that. And maybe an actual TV episode was released and the fans are like, well, we really disagree with the way that this scene or that scene went. So they'll create like an AI version of it. So it'll be like, the fan fiction and the fan films that have existed for a long time. And some of them are really good, like some of the Lord of the Rings unofficial fan films. Some, before AI, some of that stuff has been really good. But fans will be able to create more of this, and they don't necessarily need official access to the IP because they're going to do it anyways out of love of the medium, and then release their fan creations for free. And then maybe some of the ones that are better at it will eventually rise to the top and start producing stuff involving their own original characters that they do have a right to do. And I think the big industry is going to eventually start looking at this whole process that's about to happen and is already happening to some extent. They're going to look at this process with a frightful eye. The big guys in Hollywood are going to look at this and they're going to start getting scared. They're going to want to keep the little guy down, and there's going to be a struggle between the big guys and the little guys, and to try to keep the little guys down. And I don't think it's going to work long term. I think that long term, the little guys are going to be able to succeed, or at least the ones of them that have the greater talent in, directing and editing and putting scenes together will eventually succeed. And not just succeed in terms of fame on the internet, but succeed in terms of actually launching real careers. But there will be a struggle, and I think there's going to be a lot of weird things that will happen during that struggle. Okay, so let's keep hearing him.
Talking about here, we're talking about not just the ability to do things, whether it's something that is visually stunning. That's not what I'm talking about. It's whether or not this is going to be viable in a market economy. Are people willing to pay for the thing that you created via AI or not? That's really the discussion. And for whatever reason, people aren't having it. People get caught up so much into the capabilities of AI and the direction that it's going, and not talking enough about, well, what does that mean for the market economy? Like, is this viable? Are people going to be able to pay for it? Can AI even sustain itself with its questionable economics? That's the part, for whatever reason, people.
Yeah, the economic part of this is going to be difficult to figure out, because the people who are coming into this particular industry at the ground floor right now are mostly not getting paid, or they're getting paid in very indirect ways, and not very much amounts. But if it gets to be to the point where people can get paid, there'll be some kind of solution, I think, at some point. Like, I remember so many years ago when YouTube was not at all monetized. Everything on YouTube was free. And people were talking and talking. They were saying, oh, it's going to be impossible to ever monetize YouTube. It will always be free. It will always be just people putting up whatever videos they want to because it's cool. And maybe a few of them will be able to advertise a product or figure out some other type of monetization, or direct people to their website where they've got, Google AdSense running or some other type of advertisement running, but they're never going to be able to monetize YouTube. I remember there being a lot of that talk, probably around 2 decades ago, a lot of that talk. And look at YouTube now. It's monetized. Very, very monetized. And the top creators on YouTube make millions a year. And yeah, they don't. It's harder to monetize on YouTube than it was a couple years ago. Even the top creators are making less money than they did a few years ago. But it's still, You know, YouTube was one of those things that they were trying to figure out, how can this ever be monetized? And there was a lot of skepticism, and it eventually happened. So I think this is going to be figured out, but it's the kind of thing that, while we are trying to figure it out, there'll probably be a lot of ups and downs and some surprising things happening, and it'll probably be quite a struggle to get this stuff properly monetized. Okay, so I said that I was going to watch the whole video in my React, since it's a short video, but I actually spent so much time rambling that I see I probably got a pretty good video length right now for my React, and I don't want to watch his whole video and steal any of his thunder. So I'm going to stop right now. I did watch about half of it, and I want you to go ahead and watch his whole video. I'm going to put the link in the description, and I'm also going to try to find that other video where he was talking about AI recently and put that link in the description also. So yeah, it's such a cool video. And we'll go ahead and we'll stop recording.